Hi, friends. Welcome back to At the Table with Jesus as we're accepting this unbelievable invitation to come and sit and know Jesus more. And for these next few days, we're looking at this staggering reality that Jesus is fully God and fully man. Think about that just for a moment. He's fully God and fully man. This all happened because of a decision, because of a choice, because Jesus knew the only way that you and I could be redeemed, could be brought back to the Father, brought back to the table, brought back into a relationship with our Creator is if He chose to step out of heaven and onto planet Earth so that He could put Himself in our place on a cross, pay for our sins, and then invite us to come and walk with a holy God. And He made that decision. The way it's described in Philippians chapter 2, Paul says He emptied Himself and He took on the form of a man, and then being made in human likeness, Jesus was obedient to the point of death. And so it's a staggering reality today to be at the table and to realize that the Jesus who is at the table is God, but He chose to become fully God and fully man, equally God and equally man, the God-man. He took on flesh and bones like you and me and walked on this planet. That means He knows every frustration, every hardship, every heartache, every difficulty, every joy. He knows what laughter is. He knows what tears are. He knows what the highs of life are like, and He knows what the lows of life are like. And He's inviting us to come and sit with Him today. And as we do, we are staggered to understand that He's not looking from heaven at us like, I have no idea what it's like to be you. He's looking eye to eye with us and saying, I know exactly what it's like to be you. There's a place in the Old Testament in Isaiah 53 where Isaiah is prophesying about Jesus coming and taking on all of our sin and paying a price for all of our shame and our guilt. And it says about Him, He was a man of sorrows and He was acquainted with grief. That acquainted word is the one I want us to think about today. It means that He understands it. He gets it. So if you've been going through a rough season of life or you're in one today and maybe in the back of your mind, you're thinking, nobody gets me. Nobody gets it. Nobody understands. Nobody knows what I'm going through. When you sit at the table with Jesus, the one thing you're going to hear is Him saying, I know exactly what you're going through and I get it. I'm acquainted with suffering and I am acquainted with grief. I didn't read about it in a book. I didn't go and look it up on Google. I lived it, felt it, experienced it, and I know everything about betrayal. I know everything about pain and suffering. I know what dying feels like, for crying out loud. I am the one who's fully God and fully man. And so when we come today, we come to Jesus and we can be ourselves. We don't have to try to make ourselves better than we are or put on some facade or put on some exterior that impresses Him with how great we are. We can come to Him and say, I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm lonely, I'm afraid, I'm anxious, I'm angry, I'm lost, I'm bewildered, I'm trapped, I feel bound. Or we can come to Him and say, I'm so excited, I feel so joyful, I feel so free, I've got such vision. And on the high and the low, in both places, He looks back at us and He says, welcome to the table. Welcome to the table. Let's talk today about real life. And that's the thing that I want to invite us into in these next few days together as we discover that Jesus is no less God than He's always been, but He's always now fully man. So He even still in heaven has the scars in His wrists and His side and in His feet. He will always in eternity be identified with you and with me. By His choice for our salvation, Jesus, who was fully God, chose to become fully man. He came full of grace and full of truth, fully God, but fully flesh. So He gets it today, and He can lead you today because He navigated this life, and He did it well. He was faithful to the finish. He was tempted in every way, and yet he never sinned. He knows all the pressure, yet he still kept surrendering his life to God. He knew what it was like to be hated, but he rose above that and chose to love people instead. And he can lead us in our time on this earth in the same way that he lived on this earth. He can give us that same perspective, that same victory, lead us every single day to experience the power of sitting at a table with the Jesus who's fully God and fully man.